A very good afternoon to everyone out there. Thank you for tuning in today, Saturday the 22nd of January, 12:56 in the afternoon, early afternoon. How's it going, people? Now today, I've been up a few hours and I've just had a couple of bits on in the background with regards to Prince Andrew, Epstein, Maxwell scandal. And in particular Virginia Giuffre, because I've always said this and something is seriously wrong here, because we've got the same people, you know, it coming down to the same people, and by that I mean Prince Andrew, Ghislaine Maxwell, and Andrew Ashe may not look like Virginia Giuffre, you know, might be a male version, a UK version, but what I'm seeing going on in America is a mirror image of what they did with Andrew Ashe that then later turned into Coral Beach in this country. This is just a complete mirror image going on, and it comes down to the same people, Prince Andrew. And I've always said what we're seeing is theatre, and I stand by that. And this TRT World documentary, whatever it is that I was watching today, it just struck me. This is Andrew Ashe all over again, and it must be, because if this really is it for Prince Andrew, and believe you and me, it should be, because of what I saw of him with Ghislaine Maxwell, two minors in the Red Rooms in Covent Garden in 1994. Danielle has confirmed it, she just hasn't named who we saw. And it's being completely ignored throughout this whole era that we're in right now of theatre, and Prince Andrew being stripped of all military title and royal title, His Royal Highness. That's gone now, at least it appears to be. But if I'm right about what's going on with Virginia Giuffre, he's never really been stripped of his titles. This is just them making it look good. And like I say, no one's listening to what I'm saying about the Red Rooms and Prince Andrew and Ghislaine. No one's listening. And they should be. They really should be. Because this woman here, Virginia Giuffre, few things that I've said. I believe this photograph to be fake. I've always said that. Something doesn't sit right with that picture. The images in this picture, this shadowing around the edge of her hair. I mean, what is that being projected onto, that shadow? It doesn't look natural, right? It doesn't. Even the depth of field, the focus on the people, the massive contrast difference between Andrew here and Ghislaine, the dark points of the of each individual photograph. There's something wrong here. And what I believe is going to happen when you go back over Prince Andrew's BBC interview, that everyone was quick to go, oh, he's ruined himself, he's a complete disaster of an interview. Well, that interview will come back later and get rubbed in your face when this woman, her story falls apart, which it's beginning to, like I said it would. And this is a repeat of Andrew Ashe, this man here, and I'm going to show you Andrew Ashe doing pretty much what Virginia's been doing. So Virginia's come along, she's got this story, yeah, I'm photographed with the Prince, right? First of all, this photograph's a composite. He's covered his back now by saying, I don't ever recall that photograph ever being taken, right? So that's what he's standing by, and that's what you got to know. He's standing by that. I don't recall that ever being taken. Now, this woman has been paid out already, right? And subliminally, they've opened the Epstein, unsealed the whatever deal it was, 2008, 2009, or whatever it was, where she's already been paid and can't come back for any of the other people involved. Although they've opened it, and then what we get from that is, oh, Prince Andrew wasn't in it, so he can't rely on it. Yeah, which only helps Prince Andrew, because it's like he wasn't a part of it. They're trying to build that now. And while they're building that, they're slowly taking apart Virginia Giuffre. Right? Number one, she'd be dead. Especially, you know, being out there in the big wide world. You know, the UK's small. But when you're dealing with America and them places, man, you turn up dead. Yeah? So, and then, if I go back to Andrew Ash, now let's have a look at this man's claims. Let's just take a brief look at what he was saying.
The cabinet at the time.
I've been to a party and
These were all in London.
there was somewhere around and there's a film.
Let's just go back a little bit.
No.
Now what? Hold on. And you can see Duper's delight all over this now.
I was thinking, come to the house, because he'd have stumbled on and he'd seen them there, and he'd have stumbled himself on a nice little story, I think. But fortunately, he turned back. You know.
Yeah.
I wanted him to come, but I can't say it. You can't. They're there like you here, and I'm talking on phone, and they're telling me, writing on pieces of paper, telling me. And,
Can you not say? Yeah.
Andrew, did you have sex with Leon Britton?
yeah. No.
Well done. No. Stop fucking about. Did you have sex with Leon Britton?
Yeah.
Did you have sex with Kenneth Clark?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah? Right. Who's the other one? Did you have sex with John Prescott?
He's been at parties and I have, yeah.
Did you
I'm
have
not
sex
sure.
with John Prescott?
I'm not sure.
Right, but you did with Kenneth Clark.
Right, I'm going to continue that in a second. But as you're watching this, just picture Virginia Giuffre, all right? Because the names that Andrew's mentioning here, and this is in front of the Express newspaper. And this guy, off the back of this interview, went on the front page of the Express newspaper. I know because I filmed this interview for Pie and Mash Films. Right? And this went on the front page. And then their little plan here with me didn't work. I clocked what was going on. But had I have not, Andrew would have been this guy. Cole Beach. Very similar. I mean, look at him. Right? And then look at Andrew. Right? At one point, they were the same man. Operation Midland. That is what Andrew Ash was a part of, with DCI Paul Settle heading it. That's the same operation now. Right? Now, Cole Beach, what happened with him was he came out and accused a lot of the same people that Andrew did, right? Which you've just heard. So, let's just carry on.
Yeah.
And you did with Leon Britton?
Yeah.
So you've just heard him say yes to having sex with Leon Britton. Prominent politician in this country, been accused of these things. But what's taking place here is the covering up of their crimes, really. Because Andrew here is going to accuse all of these people publicly, like Virginia Giuffre. And then the takedown begins to happen on Andrew. He's sitting next to the old man now. The old man's name's Chris Fay. And he reckons he was... he volunteered at a place called the National Association for Young People in Care in 1990. And that is a place where children in care would go to report abuse. And he came along in 1990 with a story about Sir Peter Bottomley and ended up working there alongside Mary Moss, who I now call Mary Mossad. And Chris Fay is now sitting in January 2014 with Andrew Ash here. Now, the backstory on Chris Fay, apart from him being an ex-social worker, was that he went to prison for a year in 2013 or 2012 around the London Olympics. You know, at the same time they had their other agent, Ben Fellows, working as Lee Hazeldine in G4S Security and appearing to expose G4S Security's weaknesses around the London Olympics. These people all were at the same camp. And Chris Fay here is sitting in next to Andrew Ash as his, you know, I remember Andrew when he came to us in 1990 with all of these stories, so he's there corroborating. But later, and first put out there by the UK column, that's Brian Gerrish and Lou Collins, who are also a part of this same little hit team. Just another leg of it up in Plymouth and Devon or Cornwall, wherever it is they are. They're a part of this also. And Chris Fay here apparently went to prison sometime around the Olympics for fraud. Right? Now don't forget, this is all around a story concerning Prince Andrew. Andrew Ashley is going to accuse Prince Andrew, as you're going to hear in a minute, right, along with many others, which is a mirror reflection of Virginia Giuffre and what is going on here. It might be a younger woman, yeah. I mean, to be fair, she looks like she ate her former self and all the other victims. But what you're starting to see happening now with Virginia is you're hearing it mentioned on the mainstream media, which they control, that she was the trafficker. She was the one luring them in. Now, if she's took part in that, and she's already sued and took money, where have we heard that before? Carl Beach had a payout, a victim's payout. And then later, the liar who made false claims of VIP child abuse, right? And this is on the CPS, Crime Prosecution Service, government website. Carl Beach, the liar who made false claims of a VIP child abuse ring, ordered to pay almost £24,000. The man who made false claims of a VIP child abuse ring. We quickly cut back to Virginia Giuffre. Cut back to Carl Beach, who is the man who it was the prototype for Carl Beach, but their plan got foiled, was Andrew Ash. When that got ruined, they quickly jumped to this man and used him. And to cut a long story short, this man ended up doing, I think they put him away, here we go at the bottom here. He was sentenced in 2019 to 18 years in prison. Now, and they've said they found child porn on his computer. So they did a complete turnaround. He was the victim, and now he is the accused. Now, this sends out signals to all the other victims, don't even think about coming forward. Right? The government had to do something. These people had to do something. We've got an internet now and people coming out online and speaking up. So they clamp down on your freedoms of speech by telling you, you know, if you speak your mind, you could get done for malicious communication. Right? And they pushed that one. They even had the Speaker of the House's wife pretend to go to prison and pay Lord McAlpine 30 grand for sending him a fucking innocent face emoji on Twitter or whatever it was. That sends a big signal to other people. Oh, I better not say nothing. And then this man ends up in prison. So don't be surprised when the end result on this story goes exactly the same way. Here's a victim that's come along, accused a VIP paedophile ring, which consists of, well, the UK one there is Prince Andrew, who she's accused, but all the rest of them seem to be American, Alan Dershowitz and famous, you know, American lawyers and sort of Bill Clinton and all of these type of people. It's no different to what Andrew's done here. So let's just carry on with Andrew and just hear a little bit more of what he's saying, because he might as well be Virginia Giuffre.
The sensitivity of these names, being that they were all top-level MPs and they were in the cabinet at the time.
I've been to a party and
These were all in London.
there was somewhere around there's a film of a party. Well, I'm told there's a film. Well, you know.
That's the film that Fernbridge keep referring to when they talk to you, yeah?
Possibly, yeah.
Possibly.
Right, so Fernbridge what you heard Chris Fay, the fraudster, come out with there. Fernbridge, Operation Fernbridge is supposed to be a Met Police, genuine police, Scotland Yard operation, Operation Fernbridge, which was a spin-off, I believe, of the original investigation, which was Operation U-Tree around the Jimmy Savile scandal. And Fernbridge, you would have seen Ian Puddick retweeting that. And Ian Puddick is the one who has been reinforcing Andrew, right? By saying Andrew has been interviewed by Operation Fernbridge now for 70 hours. You've all seen the tweets I've showed you. Andy has now given 100 hours of interviews to Operation Fernbridge. Operation Fernbridge doesn't exist. It's a fake operation. Just like Andrew here, he's a fake victim witness. Just like Chris here, he is either NCA or Mossad. They're fake agents. That, you know, Chris Fay says, the old boy here, that DCI Paul Settle, the head of all the police operations, came to him in 2013 for information about Leon Britton, which turns out to be this birthmark, which you're going to hear about in a minute, which is fake also. Now, if Chris Fay was in prison for fraud, right, in 2012 or around that time for a year, he comes out, and DCI Paul Settle, head of all of these operations into paedophilia, goes to him for information on Leon Britton, a fraudster. What does that do to the story? Well, what it does, pretty much, if I can just find it here, what did I do that? I have got that here. Hold on, 1 second. I can... if I just copy that to here. So if I go here, you'll remember this from the other day, which involves Ian Puddick again, who funded me a Ninja recorder, which goes on your camera and you record to it, to film Andrew and fill my head with as much bullshit as possible. That's what Ian Puddick did. Now, Ian Puddick works for the Queen, and he's bought me equipment for this man here, Andrew Ash, to accuse Prince Andrew. Right? Why would he do that?
They got that film.
I haven't seen the film they've got, but they've got films and they've got interviews, they've got tape interviews, they've got films. I haven't seen them, Bill, so I can't.
Oh, I know. But, listen, let me
Jupiter's
ask
delight.
another question. Did you ever film footage, or were you forced to film footage of a child being killed?
Only when they were keeping herself.
Yeah.
Fair enough. No, but so you was under duress. What was the threat against you?
I was trapped in that thing. I was being abused myself,
Yeah.
and I was part of the abuse. What was happening there and then, and because the guy who was holding
Same
the
as
camera
Virginia.
wanted to have sex with the kid and wanted to keep the thing, then I got to get the camera to hold it for him.
Why had he done it?
Well, he did it.
Who was it? Sidney Cook.
Laughing again.
Sidney Cook was there, yeah.
Sidney
Cook was
Cook.
there, but
But who passed you the camera so he could go and have sex?
that wasn't Cook. That Cook was already on bed.
who was that?
I don't know his name. He has a moustache, little moustache.
But Sidney Cook was there.
I do know his name, but it's gone out. Possibly.
Tom, right. Have you
Tom O'Carroll.
seen more than one child killed?
I've seen. Yeah.
How many?
Right, I don't like that laugh. That is very fucking disturbing. It's disturbing because you feel there's a possibility that he's seen that and it's real. But the actual fact of it is this is bullshit. Right? And Andrew has just been put out there with information that these intelligence agents around him have been gathering. Well, he's one as well. They've been gathering, they've been watching documentaries, they've been watching victims' testimonies, they've been watching everything, and they've put it all together in one big bundle. And here's your man with learning difficulties who's been abused since the age of 8. Bullshit. Because a victim would not get involved in trying to set up a pop star who was there to help him. Right? Because I believed in him in the beginning, but now I can see what the fuck has been going on. He accuses Prince Andrew. So does Virginia Giuffre. Number one, where's Andrew Ashe and why is he not part of this whole story? Why is he not getting mentioned like Virginia Giuffre? Because Andrew's been spent now, he's done. They put Cole Beach instead of him, and Cole Beach has done the 18-year stretch. That was going to be Andrew, and that was going to be me. But the question is, why? Well, we know why. Because they wanted me to get a story wrong that contained Sidney Cook and Prince Andrew, because I saw Prince Andrew in the Red Rooms with Daniela, and everyone fucking knows it, with 2 minors and Ghislaine Maxwell, who Andrew conveniently leaves out, or should I say the people around him make him leave out. Epstein's in the list, Prince Andrew's in the list, no Ghislaine. Funny that, isn't it? But that tells me everything. That tells me Ghislaine's going to get off and then she's going to come back round and spin round and save Prince Andrew. And this is all going to play out in the media why Virginia Giuffre gets the Cole Beach treatment. Because that's what's coming. That has to be what's coming, or the royal family are over. And we've got the Queen's 70-year Jubilee coming up, so you work it out. You think that's not going to happen? No. Virginia Giuffre may as well be Cole Beach. And she may as well be Andrew Ashe.
How many children have you seen killed?
If you got to remember that, I'm not.
Oh, I'm not part of it.
No,
Yeah, but
this isn't you, it's the people that made you.
To make it think that it's
If
they
they
make it so thin to make you
Believe it.
frightened.
Yeah.
The thing is,
What did they threaten you with? Did they say you could go to prison over it?
There we go.
Well,
Yeah,
listen,
where
right,
have we heard that
let me
before?
put it like this.
Bill.
Hang on. Let me put it like this.
Bill, you're not listening.
We're actually fucking getting it here.
You're not listening.
I'm fucking getting it here. Let me do my job.
You're not listening to what he said to you.
Let me do my. Someone passed you the camera, and Sidney Cook was there. Yeah. Right. That's what you said. Right.
I don't know.
Now, let me just say,
I never saw
these
much.
numbers, you told me when to stop. Did you see, you told me when to stop. 1 child killed, 2 children killed, 3 children, 4.
The thing is, if I can just, I didn't see the killings because people like me go out the room. The killings were always done after the people, so there were no witnesses.
Hold on a minute. Bill just asked him a minute, have you seen children, or were you forced to film footage of a child being killed? Yes, he said, while he laughed, remember? Well, how is that possible if you're going out the room every time? These people don't think about what they're saying. This is the problem. This is, like I keep saying to Nicky, this is not intelligence at all. They do fuck up. And when they fuck up, I'm there to pick it up.
But these films-
That time what you just said about the carriage, when I went back in the room, the child was dead.
Right, he's just realised now, and now he's trying to cover what he said. He's realised. So he's not stupid. He's not got learning difficulties. He's just very good at playing that character.
And there's other times when the child was dead, and there's times I would have for death and got scars.
Yeah. So,
That's it. He's deterring now by showing you, oh, I've got scars and... You know, he realised he fucked up. That was a diversion tactic right there.
what you would do, you would leave the room.
And now Bill's going to make it all right for him.
Yeah, because you just... look, one thing we understand, Andrew, right,
Yeah, that was a dead loss, that one. He couldn't continue it.
is that you was under severe threat. We know you were threatened with guns, you was threatened with death yourself. We know about the story when Sidney Cook nearly killed you and you had to be resuscitated, right? So, now, when you are attacked like that as a child and you were sent into that boarding school at the age of 8, yeah?
Right, this is all diversion tactics now. But one very important thing to note there, right? Now, you remember me telling you that Sidney Cook and his gang, we all know who he is. I don't have to explain it all, Dirty Dozen and all the rest of it. Well, this guy is involved in this story as well. And one of his dirty gang, back when I was 7 or 8, lived next door to me. And his name was, well, I think it's Leslie Bailey, but if not, his name is Leslie Wallerton, or Wallington, or Wallerton, or Wallerton. Leslie Wallington. Right? There's people out there that are going to know that name. And he's got something to do with the bloke who lived next door to me. Now, the person they've made out to be the leader of the gang, who everyone else, or testimonies from police that were working on the case, said this geezer couldn't fucking organise a piss up in a brewery. So, but here's the thing, Sidney Cook. Let's have a look at a picture. Or should I say 4? Let's have a look at 4 pictures. Right? This is Sidney Cook. Except, which one? I've never seen someone's face change so much. So, here's my view on this. The man to the left is Sidney Cook. The second in from the left is a photograph from prison where Sidney Cook was being praised for making children's toys. Now, if he was to tilt his head back in that second picture, although he's got some extra beard on his chin there, that is him. If he tilts his head back, you can even see up on the top, at the very top of his forehead on the first 2 pictures, you see that little wispy bit there to the left? It's there. It's there. Right? Now, these 2 other pictures to the right, 3rd picture along and 4th picture along. Let's start with the 3rd picture along. That is the picture that started floating about of Sidney Cook when Bill Maloney and Ian Puddick all jump on the scene from 2012. The 4th picture is supposed to be Sidney Cook's arrest picture. Now, number 4 doesn't look anything like number 1 or number 2, which is him. Number 3 is supposed to be who he is today. That's the picture they pushed in the paper, October 2021, Wakefield Prison. Although I ring Wakefield Prison and they can't confirm if he's in now. Fucking ridiculous. Why not? Because his face keeps changing, that's why. Who have they got in prison? Have they got anyone in prison? More to the point, is this man really in prison? I don't believe he is. Is Ghislaine Maxwell in prison? I don't believe she is. Could they afford to put her in prison with all of this information and all these so-called high-up people? Don't think so. I don't think so. Epstein, the guy that was laid on the stretcher, ears didn't marry up, nose didn't marry up, different texture on the hair, just can't see him properly. All very convenient, but all heavily pushed by the mainstream media. So therefore, the majority of the public out there, you're going to see that and you're going to believe that because it's being pushed everywhere. And they wouldn't lie to you, but they do. And I'm showing you that they do. And this is a lie. The whole thing is Andrew Ash all over again. And Bill even knew that this was coming. How can Bill know that this was coming? Because he mentions it in this interview that you'll hear in a minute, when he says to Andrew, and you've heard it before probably, some of this might come out later on when it's all over. Now that told me that when the Virginia giuffre story's all been put to bed and she's ended up like Kyle Beach, some of what was recorded with Andrew might come out later on, just to finish the job off when Prince Andrew's been cleared. Imagine that. That was going to be me. But why? Because I saw you in the Red Rooms with Daniela. And that has been the reason why Brian Harvey never had another hit record. Every single media, mainstream media, news outlet, media, magazine, had criticism for Brian Harvey. They turned the fucking world against me. Because I knew a big secret. And that's why Bill Maloney pulled me in. I offered to help. That's because I believed he was a genuine child abuse activist. And I come along and I did what I said I was going to do. I made him a music video. I filmed his interviews better than he'd ever fucking done. And they chose to use that opportunity, my good nature, to set me up. And it's got something to do with one of Sidney Cook's gang living next door to me. Right? One of this guy's gang, which is why I want to talk to him. But might be a bit difficult as I believe he's dead. Because it's the third picture along now is the official Sidney Cook. And I've overlaid the two, picture 3 and 4. And in this older picture of him, picture number 3, his hairline grows back. At the side there, yeah, on the side you can see. It grows back. It's a good 2 inches more come back. It's fucking amazing, man. I recommend prison for everyone. If you want to grow your hair back, people, go to prison. It comes back rapidly. You wait. I'll show you the overlay of these two pictures. It's fucking incredible. And conveniently, Cook in the third picture there has got a beard to cover up what they've shown us of number 4, which is a hanging sort of jowl. I mean, you can see there, the ears are different, everything. It's just, they've got try to get as close as possible. The mole's moved, everything. It's just, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So back to this guy, Andrew Ash, the prototype victim for VIP.
Yeah, we're in a special school and boarding school.
Right, special school, then boarding school, and from all that time, then they schooled you. And now they're saying to you that you could be the criminal.
Oh dear.
To make you feel special. You could end up easily being one of those, but I didn't. I didn't. It's saying why you didn't. Not
So,
everybody comes out of care and
Andy,
abusers.
Andy, you know these people being killed in snuff movies and that? Was it like maybe a few a year that you were aware of kids being killed?
Snuff movie. There's 3 grades of snuff movies in the industry. There's like grade A, grade B, and grade A, grade B, and then grade C.
Yeah.
And then grade C is when somebody pays, some rich, really rich person pays an awful lot of money for a kid's life.
What sort of money are you talking about? How much?
And you'll never see them films because them I won't know fully how much, but you're in your like anything 20, 30,000 sometimes.
Yeah, a lot of
That's what we
money.
heard back in the 80s, that's the sort of money they were paying.
Where the bottom end it might be only £500 to £1,000,
Yeah.
and then in the middle end it'd be like 3,000 to 5,000.
But so let me just jump back. So you have been at parties where
Here we go.
Sidney Cook
Yeah, but
was with Jimmy Savile and Prince Andrew was there. Was Jimmy Savile there?
Savile were there, yeah.
Right, what about Prince Andrew?
Damn right, mate. Yeah, this is the fraud happening in front of your very eyes. And they can't hold it together. They just cannot hold the lie together.
Go on, you go.
Hang on.
Might Dean.
Well, Andy, you're doing well, bruv. Trust me, you're doing
Stop.
well. Listen, Andy, what's that? When
You go through a turnstile, and it goes to one.
Right, so the guy on the left now, this is Bill Maloney. This is a guy that I called out, supposed to be an anti-child abuse activist. Is clearly something to do with Mossad and NCA. And this is all being done to protect Prince Andrew, because Bill knew, this is before the Virginia giuffre thing came up in the mainstream. This is January 2014. But he knew it was coming. And what we recorded was supposed to come just after.
Go through turnstile like this, where garages.
Right, now listen to where Andrew is explaining this abuse taking place. Listen very carefully.
Over there with all cars and not Queen's cars.
That's the Royal
garages.
Mews, mate.
And then
the Royal Mews.
and then there's like annexes there where staff live in. You know, like little bedrooms and stuff like that. And there's a great big massive room where they all mix.
The servants' quarters.
Yeah, and that's where the party was.
Right, who was there? Cameras off. Who was there?
Don't fully know every name.
Give me some. Come on, light me up.
Jimmy Savile, was he there? He was always
He was there, yeah. Savile was there.
Leon Britton.
Liam Britton was there. Maxwell was there.
Robert Maxwell.
Yeah, from him who jumped off boat.
Oh. Jimmy Savile, Robert Maxwell. The fuck? And you notice, Andrew is just, him that jumped off boat. They've just put Robert Maxwell with Jimmy Savile. Did he say Sidney Coote was the other one? Let's just jump back.
Yeah, Savile was there.
Leon
Savile's there.
Liam Britton was there.
Leon Britton's there.
Maxwell was there. From,
Robert Maxwell.
yeah, from him who
Savile, Leon Britton, Robert Maxwell.
jumped off boat. Did that Maxwell get me?
Yeah, Robert Maxwell.
So Andrew pushing the official story that Robert Maxwell committed suicide could only benefit the people that killed him, and everyone has always, everyone suspects Mossad. Well, that's who these people are.
He was there. And how many kids were there?
Not that many kids. It were like there were only about 4 girls and there were about 5 or 6 lads.
Not that many. Fucking, he just said about 9.
Oh, Andrew.
About 12.
Did Sidney Coote supply
12,
those?
Right, that's going to be a lie. 12 and 13, bullshit. They're no good to them type of people at that age, and they all fucking know that. So, now we know that this is bullshit. What they're doing is talking up the numbers in the way that they're trying to make it a bit more palatable. Just like what they done with Virginia giuffre, and when Andrew allegedly sleeps with her, it's around when she's 17 in the UK, so there's not a problem, and she's already been paid. All this, you see what I'm saying? They're building it. Heading towards that again. Let's carry on.
But no, they were supplied from Amsterdam. They were supplied from. There was the cake that we were booked. We were ordered off the order list because there's an order list, and so there was.
Right, they've got that from watching the documentaries to do with the wolf pack and the boy business and that. It's all information that's in there. So they've been watching these things.
There's a list of you all with your photos, and they could just pick what kids they wanted.
Oh, it was standard practice.
So it was like, what was it, like a magazine or?
Bill, GB10.
Yeah, what's that?
GB10, that's the, if you like, the catalogue that's custom seized off Tripper. It was called GP10. It was a list of all boys under the age of 14 that were available for sale.
So there was a catalogue.
Catalogue.
Yeah, for people pay for highest bids when you pay good work.
So like, if I want to buy, say I want to buy a new drill, I look at the catalogue and there's all different drills.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, and there's all different drills. So I choose whatever drill I want, and they had that catalogue with kids. Who printed that?
Why would you be laughing like that, man?
I can't tell you Daniel printed it. I don't know.
Chris, can you help on this one? Who printed that catalogue?
That catalogue was, I don't know if you know Operation Orchid.
Yeah.
Operation Orchid was not set up to catch Sidney Cook. It was set up in response to what was called the babysitting ring. This was a group of people around London, including Leslie Bailey.
That is to do with Cook. Including Leslie Bailey. Go back.
This was a group of people around London, including Leslie Bailey.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Proper sex with babies.
Yeah.
Babies. That's
How old
you
are
pay a
babies?
lot of money for that.
How old
people.
are babies? Months old? Year old?
Usually about a year up.
About a year old. Right, now.
And that, sorry, Bill, this babysitting ring produced Russell Tricker of Toffs Travel, who used to traffic the kids to Amsterdam, had a video catalogue of all the children who were with that babysitting ring being looked after that were available for sale. That's the catalogue.
That's crazy.
Right, so Leslie Bailey, accomplice of Sidney Cook. Leslie Bailey, who I said lived next door to me, or his brother. It's one of these gang. It's one of the dirty dozen. And then Cook's turning up in this with Andrew. And Cook used to live next door to me, or one of his gang lived next door to me. These are not fucking coincidences considering who these people are. And they're trying to get me to have Prince Andrew at a party with Jimmy Savile, Leon Britton, Robert Maxwell, Prince Andrew, and they wanted me to go out there with that so they could do this to me. Why? Because I saw Andrew in the Red Rooms. And what I'm starting to think is, what would really be damaging? I mean, as if that story ain't damaging enough. A royal in there with Ghislaine Maxwell, 2 minors, 3 other adults, behind a secret wall that you have to get through a fucking office by pushing a button under a desk, giving a fucking code name. Took me up there like I'm fresh meat. 1994. They knew we was about to have a Christmas #1, and they were prepping me, and they walked me through. And that's what I saw. And that's what this is all about. That's why they need me to get a story wrong with Prince Andrew in it. In a scenario that didn't happen by a man, Andrew Ash, who may as well be this guy, because this was their backup plan when Andrew went wrong. Right? But what if the balding man, who could have been Murdoch, the guy with his back to me, who I didn't see properly, imagine it was someone who was supposed to be in prison. That would really blow the story wide open, wouldn't it? Imagine it was him there. And he weren't really in prison. And picture number 3 was who they were showing you who this man is today. And he won't really be in prison, because Wakefield are going on to cagey about it. See what I did there? Yeah, it's good, isn't it? There's some theatre going on here, people. Let's confirm it some more.
True, and it's
James, you off?
No. Stop outside. So
I was
bringing
You know what?
That's James Fielding from the Express newspaper there. I've got to go outside for a minute, man. I can't be fucking. This is a lot to hear, mate. I've just got to go and get a bit of air for a minute.
It's true.
It was me and you, bruv, you know that, didn't
You got
you?
me fags?
I don't smoke.
Yeah.
Right, I'm not referring to gay people there for all of our American audience. Got any fags? Got any fags? I'm talking about cigarettes there. I'm going outside for a cigarette. This is all a lot, mate. It's a lot to hear. It's a lot knowing you're being set up. And because there were a lot of things going on through this that didn't sit right. And if Ian Puddick bought Bill Maloney a Ninja, and it was for him, even though I've got tweets to the contrary, why is it not sitting there on Bill's camera, which is on the table? There's Bill's camera, filmmaker. It's me doing the filming. Where's the Ninja on his camera? Go and ask any filmmaker if a Ninja recorder goes on one of them camcorders, or should. Just go and ask anyone. Yeah?
I'm going to have a fag.
Let's have a fag, man.
I'm going to
Yeah.
Is that all right, Andy?
Yeah.
Let me make sure the cameras are powered off. I'm not.
When you talk about that, it's
Yeah, I
worth
don't want to waste my
talking
fucking
about
battery.
that.
And these, Mick, just
When he
literally
was forced to do
trying to
this.
move it.
Yeah, hang on, Andy. All we want is something for the fucking Express today. I'll do my interview with you. Just give him something.
Andrew, he needs you to confirm what I've told him.
Phil,
that the
just tell that-
security
don't
says.
move
Leave it
that
on,
there.
leave it on.
I will.
If you do that, that's all he wants.
Fucking leave that there. Leave that as well.
But if the place is bugged, then I've got to.
I get it in the neck, not you, because I said it,
Hang on,
not
hang on.
you. You
Okay.
confirmed what I said.
We will all need to get for that. We'll get
No, he said that was all right.
Let's go and have a fag, Brian.
All
He
right,
said
I'm
that
coming, mate.
it was all right. You
Chris,
can
can we
confirm
leave you
it.
two
If I
while
said
we have
it.
a cigarette? Leave you
Yeah.
two.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he-
from where you are is good.
He confirmed. He said it was all right for you to confirm it if somebody else said it.
Yeah, but I've got to say no first time.
Well, you said no.
Do you want to sit down?
No, I'm all right. I'll stand up.
He's all right.
Yes, I've got to say no first time.
Well, you said no. Now I've mentioned the name. I brought up the security service. I'm the one that's told James that. All you need to do is confirm it.
You know, they just blame me for fucking up.
They can't.
If they've been,
Well, that one's all right. It's going. If you sit there and if you do talk to him, make sure you see him. Because I've got the shot lined up. It's in the same place, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
All right,
okay.
yeah,
That's
I'm just
fine,
gonna have a
mate.
quick fag, mate.
Yeah.
A bit of air.
So that's what I'm saying to you. You're doing what you've been told to do. You're not offering the
well, I've just
information.
fucked the operation up, haven't I?
No. What operation?
Well, there must be something going on if they've got all this trouble of bugging me.
That's MI5. That's nothing to do with the police. You know, Fernbridge, the only operation they've got established looking at this is Fernbridge. Fernbridge's brief was the own guest house. Sidney Cook is done and dusted because that's what they set up Operation Orchid for. And that was over 20 years ago, so what operation?
Hang on a minute. Chris Fay, when he was describing a bill about Operation Orchid, that wasn't set up to catch Sidney Cook. No, it was. Fucking contradictions all over the place.
Set up Operation Orchid for. And that was over 20 years ago, so dusted the own guest house. Sidney Cook is done and dusted because that's what they set up Operation Orchid for. And that was over 20 years ago, so what operation?
Yeah, and a minute ago he said Operation Orchid wasn't set up to catch Sidney Cook. They're all over the place, these people.
You're not fucking anything up, mate. Honestly, you're not. You're doing as you've been told to do. I'm mentioning the names. They said it was all right, you could confirm it. That's all you have to
I
do.
don't want to upset anybody.
You're not upset.
Who said it was all right? You could confirm what Chris said. The fraud. Where have we seen the fraudster before? That's what I was getting to. I know I'll go off on tangents, but this story needs that. But we've seen the fraud thing come into it before, and it's well, I'll let you point it out.
Hi, my name's Ian Puddick. I've been exposing police corruption for many, many years. I have a website, policeexpenses.co.uk, which the counter-terrorism police prosecuted before and lost. And I've just been tackling the issue of police accountability since I was brutalised in custody. The CCTV was wiped at the police station and the officers all had amnesia. Well, I remembered. So, you know, I've just been interested. I had a very strict upbringing. I always believed the police were the good guys, the baddies were the baddies. I didn't believe the police could misbehave. And they do misbehave. Why do they misbehave? Because they can. So we're just making a very short series of videos called...
Little subliminal there for you. We can do this because we can. You know, arrogant.
The police whistleblowers. And we're starting with Paul Page. And Paul Page has got a very, very interesting story to tell.
Paul Page. All right. Oh, look. The Independent. It's all in all of the mainstream. Paul Page, the former Royal Protection Officer found guilty of fraud. Social worker who accused Leon Britton and other VIPs as being members of an alleged paedophile ring was convicted of fraud in 2011. Oh, fuck me, I got to bookmark that. Yeah. Child protection officer named Leon Britton as member of paedophile ring, but it has emerged Chris Fay, now 69, was convicted of fraud in 2011. He drew up a list of public figures. Well, Mary Moss told me she did that to throw Chris under the bus, so get your fucking story straight between you. He claimed were members of a VIP sex ring. It's centred on allegations... Sorry, you can't fucking see this. You can't see this. Let me just... Sorry. Let me just go back here. I'm very sorry. We started here. Andrew Ash. We was there, right? Now, we went into Paul Page. Former Royal Protection Officer found guilty of fraud. This is the man doing the rounds at the minute, right? And we all know who he's connected to.
Hi, my name's Ian Puddick.
And if anyone's ever been involved in the stock market, some people call it the devil's casino because...
Right, let's just go back a bit and just steer
the other way. So if you just want to tell us, Paul, you know, you got in trouble. You got in a lot of trouble. Do you want to tell us about that, just so that the viewer just gets some context about what's happened?
Okay. I spent many years in the Royal Protection Department from 1998 to 2004, I think it was. Basically, I got myself involved in a investment fraud. I put my hands up. It started off as...
Did it start off as a fraud?
No, but it's like anything. I mean, if anyone's ever been involved in the stock market, some people call it the devil's casino because it basically can suck you in, suck you dry and spit you out. You know, I got a 6-year prison sentence for fraud. And I've said openly that, you know, I'm sorry for what happened.
And do you have to register that business with the police, or do you just do it all on the sly, on the quiet? No, how does it work?
That's the company that I created, United Land and Property Developments. That was
United Land Property Developments. I checked that out, couldn't find it.
So I registered that with the police, with the job. It had to be authorised by the police.
So they knew about it?
They knew about it, yeah. But initially it didn't start off as a fraud, but it ended up as one.
Yeah, no, I realise that.
As the chain of events went on, as I say, you know, and the 6-year sentence, really, as I've said publicly, it should have been an 8, you know, for what I did.
Right, so, we cut back here now. Former Royal Protection Officer found guilty of fraud. The mainstream media only too happy to pick up on it. Yeah, where else we seen that? Where else have we seen that? Social worker who accused Leon Britton and other VIPs as being members of an alleged paedophile ring was convicted of fraud in 2011. Child protection officer Chris Fay. Chris Fay on this with Andrew.
in anybody. No, you're not, mate. But it's all right. I'll take the flak. That's why I kept butting in. I told him the security service, all you've done is confirm it, and that's what they said you could do. Yeah?
I don't know if I've already done that though, have I?
All you need to tell him is yes, the security services were present at a couple of interviews you did.
Well, there was present security services. They were there when some parties they were.
Right, but then all James needs to hear is you to confirm what I've told him, that the security services were present at a couple of interviews at least that Fernbridge did with you. Yes or no?
Yeah, but
yes.
But I didn't know they never put themselves as a
no, of course not.
If there's 4 of them and it's normally 2 of them, yeah.
Yeah, they never do. Settle and
they're dressed differently.
What Settle told you when he said he couldn't confirm that, didn't he? But he did confirm they were not his officers.
Yeah.
Right.
So this was in London when
interviews down there. So yeah, but I've been to London, yeah, but
James filled in again.
So the officers there were let's confirm there were special branch / MI5 officers sitting in on interviews.
quite a lot of interviews, yeah.
Quite a lot of interviews.
At different times, but...
And you didn't know who they were to begin with, it was only asked...
and that's his voice you can hear. James Fielding, journalist.
Didn't actually...
He didn't know who they were?
No, he knows who they are, but he wouldn't tell me. He just said he's one of some of our lads.
Some of our
lads from upstairs.
Okay.
That's how it's... But I never put 2 and 2 together.
But he did tell you that the other 2 that you were concerned about were Dutch. Special branch.
Well, they're special branch from, yeah, I did TikTok with special branch from Dutch, from Amsterdam.
And that angle was because
James Fielding.
There was people, young kids like yourself, trafficked out from London to Amsterdam.
James Fielding
But
exclusive.
you've got to understand it's not a one-way thing. We had Dutch kids and other stuff
James
come over here and they were
exclusive.
investigating on this being
So
a Dutch kid.
both ways.
So it was a 2-way thing.
Baby
And
P.
they wanted to find out if I
Checkable.
could get them to speak.
And also
This is a fake
kids from
story,
Eastern
people.
Europe too, being trafficked via Berlin.
They
Yeah.
just wanted me to speak
This is
to
a fake
Steve
story.
if I could.
And if you
Try
want
to get
more
out of him because
confirmation,
he wouldn't speak to him.
look at the
He
name.
wouldn't speak to him, but he says
John Wedger.
when he says my name, he wanted to speak to me. But actually, it wasn't like you think. Oh, it was like this, and there was nobody in that room apart from the
Oh
screw
dear.
guard, and he was in and out
dear.
of that room.
So this was Roger
Oh,
Cook.
dear.
Yeah. I had Roger Cook. Sydney Cook.
So,
Yeah.
Okay. And this was...
And there was no.
there you go.
Because there was because
There you go.
Nathan and the other guy
James
wanted
Fielding.
me around.
Chris
They
Fay,
went off for a couple
story.
of hours to do other stuff.
Paul Page.
Took place, so
Yeah? Paul Page.
And the reason why...
Paul Page.
Hi, my name's Ian
Why they
Puddick.
were
A real
MI5
insight.
special
Paul
branch,
Page.
Dutch special branch.
Hi, my name's Ian
Because
Puddick. I've been
of the
exposed.
sensitivity
Yeah.
of the names that you were telling police who were...
names, they've gone more daft. They've gone dafter since they got... I was fine when they got the documents from NAPEC.
Yeah.
I was fine up to then. But everything was recorded when I was working with Jill Priestley in the papers, because Maxwell had everything recorded to protect himself. The police have got copies of all those recordings now from the paper.
From Eve Pollard.
Some, well,
Yeah, Priestley
This,
Spanish. So it
it's
has
gone from Will.
Eve Pollard. That's someone we need to talk to. You got knowledge of this, have you, Eve? You're connected to the Royals. David Bailey. David Bailey. Are you married to David Bailey? I think Ian Cutler might have told me that. Eve Pollard. Note that, people.
Pollard, yeah.
Eve.
They must have got them from Eve Pollard. But they said they've got the tapes and stuff now, a load of stuff now and stuff.
Has she?
And as soon as they got those tapes, because I was making phone calls to selected MPs, I was making phone of the day, I was making phone calls to... And I had all the numbers, I had the diaries, I had everything. And when I came to NAPEC, I had a box like that, I'm not joking, a little box about that high, like, well, only like that.
Yeah,
And
I
it had
confirm
everything, because Chris came down, because they sent the lad down, then Chris came down, so the lad says, we can't, I don't know what to bring. He says to Chris, I don't know what to get. Chris, and as soon as he explained the things to Chris, says, I'm on my way down. Chris got in his car and he came down that evening and everything. And And Chris went and talked to.
All right,
Chris went to talk.
what we'll do, Andy, is what we want to do is, because I want to try and sort of just slow things down a little bit and take things clearly and concisely. And if you want, you don't have to. You can just say yes or no, just so I know. Okay. Now, Operation Fernbridge approached you on your birthday last May.
Yeah.
That's on the door.
That's when I first came to
That
the
was
door.
when it first came to you. You didn't go to them; they came to you.
I never went to them.
There followed a series of interviews with Fernbridge that happened over a series of months, usually in Bridlington, in a police house, which the police.
They know that stuff like that is done in Bridlington, so you know they're just throwing in standard stuff that they've gathered, and you know if you don't know something's going on, you're having this, because the amount of comments that I've seen over the years, oh poor Andrew, no, we've all been lied to, me especially, and set up, and I hope you see this now for what it is.
There's only a couple of times I've been out of Bridlington, really.
Okay. Those few times that you've been out of Bridlington were in London.
Yeah, and London, yeah.
London and the Isle of Wight.
And the Isle of Wight. And then when you were in London, the Isle of Wight, there were two officers there that you didn't recognise, and you asked who they were later on, and what you were told were that they were from upstairs.
Just upstairs, just
Yeah.
I don't know what they mean,
Upstairs.
just from upstairs.
And you were later told that there were spooks, there were spies, or there were intelligence.
I overheard things because I was talking in the room and that, and I said, no, they're from upstairs, but upstairs are Secret Services.
All right.
And they said when we're having a dinner,
Right.
you know, like when they stop the interviews and you go for your lunch and stuff. And they sort of, it just one of those times when you're talking and they told me, but they didn't openly tell me on phones or didn't openly tell me, so.
No. Okay. And the reason why the security services were involved is because of the sensitivity of the names that you were telling the police.
I think it's, they don't want, I've got a list of things I can't go near, which is in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to go there, and I've really showed them I wouldn't want to go there.
Mm.
They couldn't be touched anywhere because they're too high.
Mm-hmm.
You can't touch some high people in this country.
But
Even you tried to do a report on it and tried to do that, I tell you it'll be stopped before it even gets published by people above you. Because they'll be told, your solicitors and lawyers will tell that can't publish, that can't publish.
But one of the people that you were told, one of the people you told to the police was Leon Britton.
Here we go.
Yeah.
He'd been abusing at parties in London. And there were other senior MPs as well.
There's an MP called, there's a Civil Fulsmith,
Yeah.
Raymond runs a few
Right,
pubs
watch
for him,
this unfold.
who I lived with and everything, and we've done a few pubs from him, like.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, getting back, I want to get back to Leon Bridge because I know from what the information Settle came to me for, there's one surefire way of identifying Leon Britton above anything else. Do you want to tell James what that is?
His birthmark
His birthmark. And where was his birthmark?
on his, I don't want to stand up because I've got a
No,
shot.
just
Sort of on the thigh, just
on the thigh.
Right, so we now go back. James Fielding's story, and it just so happens to include John Wedger. Now let's go back to the story before that. Police gunman told me to ignore paedophiles, says ex-child protection officer Chris Fay. There he is. Story written by James Fielding. And how did that end up? Because that was an early story. That's 2013. How did it all unfold? When you go looking for Chris Fay, you just type in Chris Fay. This is what's going to come up. Not much. Not much. Just the stories laid out in order. This came first, 2013. And that is when we shot Nightmares at Elm Guest House with Bill Maloney, and also when we shot the Invisible video. music video. So then the latest you hear of this, 2015, that's when they upped their game on me and was terrorising the fuck out of me. So, social worker who accused Leon Britton and other VIPs as being members of an alleged paedophile ring was convicted of fraud in 2011. Now, where have we seen that? On the latest accuser, Paul Page, former Royal Protection Officer, found guilty of fraud. Both stories include Prince Andrew, and both stories consist of...
Hi, my name's Ian Puddick. I've been exposing police corruption for many, many years. I have a website, policeexpenses.co.uk, which the counter-terrorism police prosecuted before and lost. And I've just been tackling the issue of police accountability since I was brutalised in custody. The CCTV was wiped to the police station and the officers all had amnesia. Well, I remembered. So, you know, I've just been interested. I had a very strict upbringing. I always believed the police were the good guys, the baddies were the baddies. I didn't believe the police could misbehave. And they do misbehave. Why do they misbehave? Because they can. So we're just making a very short series of videos called The Police Whistleblowers. And we're starting with Paul Page. And Paul Page has got a very, very interesting story to tell. Ex-Royal Protection Police at Buckingham Palace. I won't say any more. I'll let Paul take the first video away. So if you just want to tell us, Paul, you know, you got in trouble. You got in a lot of trouble. Do you want to tell us about that? Just so that the viewer just gets some context about what's happened.
Okay, I spent many years in the Royal Protection Department from 1998 to 2004, I think it was.
Right, Royal Protection Officer, police whistleblower. Police whistleblower. Both connected to Puddick, who works for the Queen. And if you want confirmation of that, I'll give it to you.
Narrative is, if you can get enough people saying this guy's a loony, he's crazy, he's threatening, he's of a violent disposition, he's this, he's that. If enough people say that, it becomes part of the story, it becomes the reality, and that's clearly what happened.
Say something often enough and people will accept it.
I think that's true, yeah.
Regardless of the reality, right.
Channel 4 Dispatches correspondent Chris Plumley recently asked my barrister, Michael Wolkine QC, on the context, on the...
Just let that catch up a minute. It's just playing a bit funny, but the bit I wanted anyway was this is Puddick's lawyer, barrister, Michael Wolkine QC, right? You've heard what I've said around this story, but if I just go back here, check this out. You know, you see Puddick had put up that I've been sectioned 2015. I told you they ramped up their shit on me. Listen to this. This is Puddick's barrister.
It's not as if she forgets them ever. Every day she tells me she cries for no obvious reason. Actually, the reasons are obvious. She was disregarded. She was someone who was defamed, written off as because of her less than conventional lifestyle. Maybe it wasn't a steady lifestyle.
She was a former sex worker?
Yes, she was a former sex worker, and so what? And she was wrongly accused during the trial of having been sectioned.
Let me show you your client, yeah? Where's your client? Hold on. Let me show you your...
Narrative is, if you can...
Look, I mean... Yeah? It speaks for itself. I don't have to say much. And for his barrister to come out with that, I mean, that's just embarrassing. Yeah, see what I did there? Yeah. This is all fake anyway, in my view. Right? All this Michael Wolkine, all this shit getting put together. It was a closed court case. No one got in there to see nothing. As per usual, it's bungle. But what they have done is shown themselves connected, because this Joanne Magellix, who Puddick's barrister's representing, was allegedly the ex-girlfriend of Ian Watkins out of Lost Profits, who was raping babies, fans' babies. This is another intelligence agent, this woman there. And she looks like someone I know as well, though. Intelligence. As they unfold it for you. There she is. This is Joanne Magellix trying to contact me. And this bloke forgot that he told me. This case is weird. Like, he's trying to contact me now and all that. Like, forget it, mate. Yeah, forget it. Yeah, explain that to me. Who are you looking at there? What is that? I shouldn't talk to you just on that basis. But I know where you fit into it. You're just another agent. Right, so don't worry. It's fine. Right, this is what you need to see. Alright? And he says he didn't buy me the Ninja. He bought it for Bill on the Sean Atwood show. I'm not going to play that again. There it is. I was kind enough to buy him a Ninja, yet he continuously insults both me and Bill for no apparent reason. No apparent reason. Alright, Ian.
Hi, my name's Ian Puddick. We're just going to make a very short film this evening. We're filming here in my office. Anyone that knows me knows what I do for a living. I have 2 jobs. I'm very, very lucky. I run a leak detection company. We have engineers out on the road who have special technology for going out and finding leaks on things.
Going out and finding leaks on things. Yeah, you don't mention anything about plumbing.
And the other job that I have is my background really is I'm a communications consultant. I've worked with the Queen at...
They're doing their very best right now to stop this going out, look.
Leaks on things. And the other job that I have is my background really is I'm
trying to fuck with it, but you're going to get it, don't worry.
I'm a communications consultant. I've worked with the Queen at...
They're really trying it, man. Really trying
engineers
it.
out on the road who have special
equipment for leaks on things. Hold on a second. I know how to fix this. Let me just go back a bit on that. There we go. It should be well.
Technology for going out and finding leaks on things. And the other job that I have is my background really is I'm a communications consultant. I've worked with the Queen at Buckingham Palace. I've recently advised the Cabinet Office.
God, they just don't like that bit, do they, eh?
And the other job that I have is my background really is I'm a communications consultant. I've worked with the Queen at Buckingham Palace. I've recently advised the Cabinet Office and I've worked...
God, you're trying hard out there, boys, aren't you? Stop that. Works for the Queen at Buckingham Palace. I'm not going to struggle with that clip anymore. You've seen what you need to see now. All right, and you see that
Hi, my name's Ian Puddick.
Connected to Paul Page, and Puddick went on Sean Atwood, and it's clear he doesn't know friend of Brian Harvey. Anyway, yeah, so and then when we cut over here, we got more of their cronies involved. We got John Wedger now involved in the Baby P story as pushed by James Fielding. Checkerboard in the background, so contrary to conspiracy, they do signal like this, and this will be another fake story. It's always, see, the thing is it's always concerning dead babies. It's all dead kids, dead babies, and other people related to this who are not as upfront but are doing their work online, and that's Sharon Gale. And look at her story. What does her story consist of? And you can't find any background on it, and they do like to implant false memories. And then she goes on Richie Allen, who's connected to David Icke, and David Icke is connected to Bill Maloney, who's interviewing Andrew here. Yeah, and it's all a fraud, and it's all fraud, and a fraud theatre. That's what we should call this channel. Fraud Theatre. Because that's what we're playing from these people. And they've been exposed now. And it's up to you out there whether you want to take notice of this and do something about it, because I am laying it out for you.
Right, now I'm just asking you if you will tell James the story about you, the young girl that you told me at Max Clifford's apartment near Broadcasting House. Could you just tell that story, Andy?
I could tell the story, but...
Well, it's only Max Clifford. We won't put
It's just
nothing...
been cleared, hasn't it?
Huh?
It's just been cleared.
No. I mean, if you tell,
he's got 7 victims.
So yeah, I've got to put this through lawyers and stuff. So if you tell me, it will just be for now background information purposes, because I won't be able to print it.
It was more girls, though. With
right.
Yeah, Max Clifford. But remember the story you told me when you went to his apartment and he gave you a cigarette and a drink?
They gave a cigarette, a drink, and you could have some drugs if you wanted there.
Was that just you, Clifford, and the girl?
Me there, Clifford and the girl. But I went with somebody. I went as a gift. I was not a gift. I went there as a
stud.
Stud, if you call it.
I was the stud. You were the man.
Yeah.
But you had to have sex with.
We had a threesome.
Yeah.
Okay. You had a threesome with Max Clifford.
And his name was mentioned to police in his interviews. By you.
Possibly. I can't remember all the names that I've mentioned.
But there was a number of
7 hours, yeah.
And this was the reason why they had the security services sitting on at least 2 of your interviews. That you think?
More. Put it like that.
More.
No, if you put it like that, probably so, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think, because I didn't know at the time, but now when you tell how you're putting it,
yeah,
it makes a bit of sense.
That they were sitting in. Did the Dutch police officers ask you anything?
Very little. They just wanted to find out. They really wanted to find out because they wanted to find out if any of their kids was involved in. Right. They're more interested in that. That's why on my blog I put about the Dutch police a bit. You know, they're not bothered. They're not.
Look, Andrew's blog. Do you remember the video the other day I showed you about that and the messages that I was getting back from it? In 2018, 2019, I thought it was 28. It could have been. Well, it was like one of them two. And if we just go over it, I'm pretty sure we can find it. Andrew Ash. Andrew Ash blog. Andrew Ash blog. Here we go. Up here, WordPress. Andrew Ash blog. So, like I showed you before, here's his blog. There's Andrew there on the end. It's just got all new Napic all over it. Pyramids. Andrew Ash at Andy Ash 2 Twitter. Source Andrew Ash. Let's see if it's changed again, shall we? Oh, look. It's still the same as the other day, but what originally was there is gone. And he did have tweets. How have they done this? Why is it now all about football? And look at the name. NCAA football. Oh, dear. That's mental. That really is. So, so much for Andrew's blog. Well, where is his actual... But does this not bring some truth of what David Icke once said a long time ago? Andrew fucking name's David Icke, so what are you talking about? This is ridiculous. Oh, mate, this is ridiculous. Schoolboy, where's the actual blog? By Andrew Ash. A.G. Stevens was born in Wrexham, 1928. I'll let you read the blog. I mean, that he even purposely gets words wrong, like he spells them how he says them. Oh, the bottle of Coke. And he literally writes it as C-O-R-K, Coke. Yeah. I find this all very strange. Well, I know what's going on, but it's trying to make it sink into the public, really. James Fielding, Baby P. Yeah? John Wedger. Yeah? John Wedger. Associate of Bill Maloney. Yeah, and if you want confirmation of that... can't see. Scatter videos. Right, so you got John Wedger here with Maggie Oliver. Yes, thoughts on Brian Harvey and your psychic Bill Maloney. Why did you tell him to shut up? Yeah, remember that, John? You was telling me to shut up? Remember that? Remember that, John? You remember? How can these people act this way towards me and then expect you to believe in them as people that are out there saving fucking children? Just, you know, to put it fucking bluntly. You know what I mean? It's well documented and has been for a long time. Why don't the mainstream media pick up on this? Because it don't serve them. Yeah, look. YouTube, charity scammers. John Wedger, Bill Maloney, Belinda. Yeah? So basically, John Wedger, police whistleblower, involved in the Baby P story, involved with Chris Fay, another police whistleblower, Paul Page, guilty of fraud. So it's a matter of time before I think they're going to use John Wedger and do the same thing as what they've done here to Paul Page, with the help of Puddick, no doubt. Doing it all because he works directly for the Queen. Don't forget, in communications at Buckingham Palace, that means he knows about everything going in and out, right? And you notice, look, over here, charity scammers, yeah, Bill Maloney comes up, Lou Collins, all the people I was telling you about, Danny Jones Oaks Police, he's another one of them, pretends to put stuff out being against them, but actually he's on their side. Bill Maloney and the Rains list, hoaxed it, so I'm saying. There's another, just forget that story, that's all fake as well. If you see these names, you know it's fake. This is a very good site, bathsnotes.com. Very, I'll go on here quickly. Fake John Wedger is back. See what I'm saying, right? Like, it's very well known, but the mainstream media choose to leave it, because they're not doing their jobs properly. They're in on covering up child abuse. This is what I'm telling you. Yeah, Bartholomew's notes. Some notes on Express journalists James Fielding, Bill Maloney and John Wedger. And this has been out there since August 13, 2018 by Richard Bartholomew. And thank you, Richard Bartholomew, for doing this. I did read this some time ago, but there's just so much information and so many screenshots and so many websites. But I do get round to it eventually. So this is quoting the story here, Andrew Ashe's female MP abused boy in care, which I showed you a minute ago, by James Fielding. Blah, blah, blah. He's just quoting some of the story. Right, so this is what Richard Bartholomew says about it. The lack of quotation marks in the headline is indicative of the climate back in 2014, at which time any VIP sex abuse allegation might receive sensational and uncritical coverage in the media. Of course, the story did not go anywhere, and Ash soon afterwards reeled back from at least one other allegation that appeared in the media. I've redacted the last name quoted above due to an unconfirmed report that this person has recently been charged with attempting to pervert the course of justice. He was also quoted in an old story published in the Sunday Times back in 1990, which focused on Ash's Amsterdam claims in relation to the supposed evidence of snuff films made for a group called the Elite 12. No, they were called the Dirty Dozen, and that was Cook's gang. But this is still going off of the media that they've laid out many years ago. This has been a big plan going on for a long time. It ain't been a 5-minute thing. Even going into, giving people background, having Bill Maloney make a few films with a camcorder, just saying put it up there and revert back to saying, I was a filmmaker, right? They take time when they fucking do this, so they knew this was coming. They knew this was coming. Further details about the Express story have been put online by former pop singer Brian Harvey, who fell in with Maloney through an interest in conspiracy theories and travelled with him to interview Ash, which I didn't want to go to, but I've offered to help, so I had to go, really. You know, what fucking good are you if you don't go? Right? But in London, yeah, I told him I couldn't really go all the way up there, but we did for him. Yeah, so I put my fucking shit in danger to go up there. According to Harvey's account, the Express journalist James Fielding joined them on the trip. Yeah, we met him at Andrews. He turned up at Andrews after. And Fielding's own interview with Ash provided the material for the above story. Harvey was given the task of videoing Maloney's subsequent interview with Ash, at which Fielding was not present. Yeah, that was the one after. That was the next day. Yeah, Fielding done his interview and then ducked out afterwards. And since breaking with Maloney, he has published it online. It shows Maloney reading a list of celebrities' names to Ash, who confirms that most of them abused him. The list also included a non-celebrity known to Harvey, which Harvey believes was included to manipulate him, 100%. Ash comes across as vulnerable and Maloney as overpowering. I discuss this in more detail here. And then it goes into a little bit of background about Bill Maloney and why he decides to make films and all that. It's all bungle. Soon afterwards, however, Maloney instead decided to focus on making documentary videos, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, just giving you the background. There we go. More recently, Fielding has promoted a close associate of Maloney named John Wedger, a former police officer who claims that he was bullied out of Metropolitan Police for attempting to uncover paedophile rings. Wedger describes himself as a police whistleblower, although he says that because he is currently suing the police, he cannot name names. Well, how long's that fucking case taking to go through? You only get 2 years, so where is it? He's only suing the police and he can't name names. His activism appears mostly of undertaking sponsored walks and bike rides. He claims that Brian Harvey's appeal to him to break from Maloney amounts of threats against him. Fucking dickhead. Although there is nothing in the public domain that would substantiate such an allegation. Thank you, so far as I can see. I've discussed some of this previously here. Fielding introduced Wedger to Sunday Express readers last autumn in an article headlined "Baby P Detective Sues Bully Police After Exposing Child Abuse and Corruption." The extent of his involvement with the Baby B case is not clear, although we're told that he interviewed the child's mother. A week later, a follow-up article by Fielding appeared focusing on Maggie Oliver. They put her in Big Brother also. Remember it came up about me being in Big Brother? There you go, that's how it happened. A former officer involved in the Rochdale grooming case who has now decided to speak out to support another detective, John Wedger. Get the spelling right, how you doing it? John, Jon, like fucking get it right. But, you know, anyway, so this is how they do it. You know, they've got one in Big Brother, you get to know her, and then that's slowly how they bring the other ones through, make it mainstream, and then boom, you know, they've got you all fucking manipulated. So this is really good by Followed Muse Notes, and I recommend anyone going in, typing that in Google, and that it'd be easy to find. Comes up straight away, and it's a pretty good breakdown on a lot of it, so I recommend having a look at that. We go back here, that's Andrew Ash's blog. Andrew Ash's blog. John Wedger connected to Baby P, put out by James Fielding. James Fielding done the story with Andrew as well. Social worker. And that is Chris Fay, back to Leon Britton allegation, which you see happened just now on the video back here. And then Andrew was the prototype for this guy, and they've both been found, both Cole Beach and Andrew Ash, both been found on the Jimmy Jones Outlaw blog to begin with, and then both get filtered through Xaro News, which is Mark Watts, and it's funny actually because they do a debate, an Xaro debate, and Puddick's in the crowd, and Mark Watts turns to Puddick and says, yeah, chap at the front, hi, Ian Puddick. And it's just the theatre. It is insulting our fucking intelligence. I've just laid it out for you. The reasons why, what they're doing, how they're doing it, who's involved, where they come from, how they end up. And Cold Beach is going to be no different to this woman. Believe me. And now we're going to get, finally, to what we should have been watching. Well, you needed some background there. You needed some dot connecting. So I'll give it to you. So now, let's watch this together. And I'll stop it at the relevant times.
This is massive world news. We haven't seen anything like it in our generation. The stripping of all military affiliations and patronages from a prince of the British royal family.
This is a way of amputating the foot with gangrene to save the royal body.
Well, I don't know if I'd call it massive world news, but if you're interested in Britain's royal family, the Prince Andrew scandal is shocking stuff. Last week, the Queen stripped her favourite son of all his military titles and patronages, and most importantly, he will no longer be known as His Royal Highness.
Right, so the first thing that comes to mind here is, look at how this is being presented. It's on the news. This is massive news. We've never heard of anything like this before. Yeah, it's really been built up. They've really got to go to town on this to strip him of everything. He's getting it all back. You know, this is the theatre playing out. So the magnificent scale which this bogus story is being broadcast on is, for most people, it's the seller. You know, that's it. It's on the fucking news. What are you talking about? Nah, you're off your nut. Conspiracy. But I'm telling you, watch it play out. Otherwise, it means the royal family are over. And as the Queen's coming up to her 70th, I don't believe it is. I don't believe there's absolutely no way that can be. What, the Queen's going to go out like that? Nah, man, it ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. I can understand her wanting to protect her son, but at the end of the day, right, I saw him in the Red Rooms, Mum. Right? And there is a tunnel network going straight there. We know that. So, you know, I mean, no disrespect to the Queen. You know, I don't think she can afford to get involved in any of this or really stop anything or do anything. I don't think she can. What's she going to do? Come out and do a story on Panorama? I tried to stop the people around me, but they wouldn't listen. No. She's stuck in the middle of it, if anything, and now she's got to get, you know, noncy sons out of it. Charles don't want to talk. He's like, oh, fucking hell, don't pass that ball my way, because it's got Savile's name written on it. And there's another can of worms waiting to unfold and work its way into this story and that. It's a fucking mess. So if you think that over the past 10 years they haven't gone into VIP overdrive of covering up, then, you know, think again. And that's what all of this is. And it had to be done over a long period of time. And this had to be more convincing than anything that's ever been. I can see the PR, but I fucking know how these people work. So, you know, this has really got to be convincing, Mum. And we've really got to pull all the stops out on this one. We're going to have to publicly strip Andrew of his title. All of the public will have judged him. And then when a certain piece of information comes out, everyone will have to take him back because they would have already prejudged him. So we're going to play on a guilt factor. Oh, yeah. So, anyway, we'll carry on.
Her Majesty took the decision after a judge in New York ruled that Andrew would face a civil trial over allegations that he had sex with a 17-year-old
Shadow's not right behind her.
while she was being sex trafficked
Especially
by
under
the
her
US
arm.
billionaire Jeffrey Epstein. The Prince denies the allegation. Since that decision, there's been a slew of revelations, accusations, and a witness against Prince Andrew has now stepped forward out of the shadows. We'll be speaking to Eric Fudali, a lawyer at the firm which is representing the witness, in a moment. We'll also hear from another lawyer, Professor Alan Dershowitz, who has been similarly accused by Virginia Giuffre.
So what's he doing in now? I mean, that is ridiculous in itself. But let's watch it.
From another lawyer, Professor Alan Dershowitz, who has been similarly accused by Virginia Giuffre and recently wrote an article entitled, "What If Prince Andrew Were Innocent?" And for All Matters Royal, we'll be speaking with the Queen's former press secretary, Dickie Arbiter, and we'll hear from Russell Myers.
Oh, he won't be good if he's called Dickie. Fucking hell.
The royal editor for the Daily Mirror, who's just appeared in a major new documentary, Ghislaine, Prince Andrew and the Paedophile. But first, a quick look at how the Queen suddenly and decisively ended the royal career of her favourite son.
It's a major bombshell in the Prince Andrew saga.
With the Queen's approval and agreement, the Duke of York's military affiliations and royal patronages have been returned to the Queen. The Duke of York will continue not to undertake any public duties and is defending this case as a private citizen.
This is massive world news. We haven't seen anything like it in our generation.
We are not going to see Prince Andrew out and about again as a working member of the royal family.
It comes after a court ruling in the US which left the prince facing a civil case later this year against Virginia Giuffre.
She says she was sexually exploited by Jeffrey Epstein. Ms. Giuffre, then known as Roberts, says Epstein coerced the then teenager into abuse by Prince Andrew.
An allegation, of course, which he denies.
I can absolutely categorically tell you it never happened.
Irrespective of his innocence or guilt in this case, his reputation is shredded because of his repeated failures of judgment, captured in 3 photos we're very familiar with. Him with Epstein in Central Park in 2010, Andrew with his arm around a bare midriff.
Hold on. The Mirror. So you're happy to get involved then, are you, The Mirror? Sorry, 1 second. The Mirror. Oh dear. You fucking hypocrites. Fucking hypocrites, man. Fucking hypocrites. So you only mention what you think's relevant in the mainstream. You slag me off, but you're happy to put these things out as well as James Fielding, aren't you? Like I said, you can't trust the mainstream media. Put my phone tapping case through and let me finish them.
Repeated failures of judgment, captured in 3 photos we're very familiar with. Him with Epstein in Central Park in 2010, Andrew with his arm around the bare midriff of Virginia Giuffre, and then Epstein and Maxwell on holiday at Balmoral.
If the monarchy needs to be protected by having the Duke of York go through these legal proceedings as a private citizen, then that's what has to happen.
A source close to the Duke said this is a marathon, not a sprint, and the Duke will continue to defend himself against these claims.
Is there anything legally he can do to stop this being fully exposed with texts and emails?
He can settle the case. He does not want the facts to start pouring out. He has to settle the case.
Of course, to do that, Virginia Giuffre would have to also agree to settle. And from what we know from sources close to her and from what she has said publicly, she is not inclined to do that.
Prince Andrew should be panicking. He needs to be held accountable. We need to show the world that the rich and the mighty can fall too.
He's seriously on the ropes at the moment. He's had a serious blow. He may yet attempt to try and get this delayed, get this thrown out.
Today, another twist. The lawyers for Prince Andrew filed legal documents claiming the woman accusing him of sexual assault may suffer from false memories.
If things did not happen the way she is saying, then there are 2 reasons why she might be saying it. One is that she's lying. The other is that she has come to believe it and she has false memories.
He knows exactly what he's done, and I hope he comes clean about it. Thank you.
What, like the false memory that Daniela tried to implant in my head that it wasn't these two people on the screen you can see now and in this order as well. Yeah, these two were in the Red Rooms nightclub. These two, yeah, looking very much like this. Obviously, he didn't have a top hat on or suit jacket. Daniela Westbrook wanted me to believe that was Simon Cowell and Sunita. Yeah. No. Them two. So why am I all over the news? Why don't my story get out? You put out Andrew Ash's lie. I was there filming it. You're happy to put the boot into me, make the public believe that I'm some fucking nutter, when I'm the one holding all the evidence.
Well, the legal teams for both Prince Andrew and Virginia Giuffre are now working on their cases and have around till July to question witnesses and experts in preparation for
they're going to draw this one out
this year, probably sometime after September. Of course, Andrew participating in the trial is just one of 3 possible outcomes. It may not come to that. The majority of these civil cases are settled out
Some
of
of
court.
this might come
The
out
third option is that
later on,
Prince Andrew
when it's all
defaults,
over.
which means he refuses to cooperate.
But at least we got it.
But if he does that, the court will automatically find in Giuffre's favour. Let's bring in our guest now. And Eric Vidali, I'd like to start with you. Do you expect this case to go to trial?
I would be surprised if it went all the way to trial. Prince Andrew now, he does have the 3 options. He can participate in the litigation process. He can participate in discovery. And he can do what a lot of people have been saying he should do, is go ahead and try to prove his innocence or try to disprove Ms. Giuffre's case. He has that opportunity now if he wants. The other opportunity is to, of course, resolve the case and move on, or to just avoid the case altogether and default. But he's had the opportunity to step into the court and to prove his case or attempt to prove his case since day one of this case, since the case was filed. So now that the case is dismissed and he has less, or the case, his motion to dismiss was denied and he has less options, I expect him to participate in discovery, sit for a deposition, and move forward towards trial at least.
Professor Dershowitz, just on that specific point, do you think Prince...
What is Alan Dershowitz doing being interviewed when he's another person that Virginia Giuffre is accusing? What is this? BBC gave him a platform, now these lot.
Prince Andrew will make it to trial, will go to trial and see it through?
Well, I hope he does what I did. He should countersue the liar who has accused him. Virginia Giuffre has a long history of lying.
Check the art in the background. Art. Arts and Embassies program.
About me, about George Mitchell, about Barack.
I'm sorry, Professor Dershowitz, to jump in. We will come to all of that. But specifically, your prediction, do you think he will go to trial? Do you think he'll settle? What will he do?
I don't think he should settle. I don't know what he will do. I think he should countersue and put her on the defensive and make her prove her charges. She has no proof beyond a photograph. It's certainly possible that all that happened is that she and he took a photograph together and nothing else happened.
Okay.
And he'll put her to her proof and countersue her.
Well, let's see what his legal team decides. Eric, your firm made the headlines here in the UK just yesterday when it revealed much more details about the witness against Prince Andrew that your firm represents. Can you tell us what those details?
We know where Prince Andrew stands on it. He believes it to be a fake, the photograph. So don't be surprised when it all gets found out to be fake. And I said, yeah, that's shading, and contrast between them ain't right. It ain't right.
Details are.
Yes, well, we're proud to represent Ms. Walker, and she is willing to participate in a deposition that Ms. Giuffre's team seeks. So she will participate, and it'll be up to Ms. Giuffre's team or Prince Andrew's team to see if they want to move forward with those depositions.
What sort of details is Sukri Walker willing to provide?
I can't go beyond that, other than that she's willing to be deposed, she's willing to participate, and that information will be revealed as the deposition moves forward.
Okay. Well, Professor Dershowitz, before I can ask you about Prince Andrew, I have to remind our viewers, of course, that Virginia Giuffre has also accused you of having sex with her when she was a minor and was being sex trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein. Just for the record, do you still deny those accusations?
Well, deny it. I've disproved it categorically. In her own manuscript, she claims she never met me, never heard of me. She had to be told by Sharon Churcher who I was. She told the FBI that she did not have sex with me. She was shown a picture of me. She told her best friend, Rebecca Boylan, that she was pressured into naming me as part, essentially, of an extortion plot against Leslie Wexner. No, I don't merely deny it. I have categorically, unequivocally disproved it, and she hasn't come forward with one bit of evidence because she can't. It's impossible to have evidence of an event that didn't occur. I never met her. I never had sex with her. Never had sex with another underage person in my life. I have had sex only with my wife during the relevant period of time. So it's not a mere denial. It's a categorical disproof. And let's remember one other thing. No government agency has concluded that either I did anything wrong or Prince Andrew did anything wrong. This is merely the accusation of one woman with a long history of lying, not an indictment, not a government accusation.
Understood.
So let's be clear, nobody should be presumed guilty.
I'm going to come to your article in a moment. Yesterday, you tweeted a 2015 article from the Daily Mail in which Giuffre's former friends described her as money-hungry and much worse. Some of the comments under your tweet accused you of trying to smear her as your defense and pointed out that she was only 16 when Epstein trafficked her. Do you regret tweeting that article?
No, she was not 16. She lied about her age. First said she was 14, then she said she was 15. It turned out she was over 18, and she wasn't trafficked. What happened is she was the trafficker. She got a young girl named Carolyn who was 14.
Oh, here we go, here we go. And now it looks like you could be the one that's in trouble. Yeah? Yeah? All right.
And she was paid to bring Carolyn to Epstein. She was a trafficker, a sex trafficker. So no, I don't regret it at all. I'm not trying to silence her. I want her to talk more and more. The more she talks, the more she exposes her perjury. She's been trying to silence me, and the BBC has tried.
That's it. She will be getting done for perjury, and the tables will turn, and he will be exonerated. By he, I mean Prince Andrew, in the public. That's what all the stripping is about, all the extremities that are going to right now. And carefully planned out, because it's got to be worked out a certain way. It's all got to be coordinated, because you've got the Jubilee coming up, you've got that to account for, nothing can go wrong, let the Queen be seen to be stripping Andrew, like she's already judged him herself, and there'll be a big thing later. Oh, I'm so sorry, my poor Andrew. Yeah, and then they will turn on the waterworks for him. And you do that over 10 years, and that's how you cover it all up. So you do it.
To silence me. I will not be silenced. I will defend myself because I did nothing wrong.
This program, of course, is about Prince Andrew, so let's turn to him.
I will defend myself because I'm part of the story.
Let me ask you about the article that you wrote in the last couple of days. What if Prince Andrew were innocent? Why did you...
Ah, there you go. There you go. There you go. What if Prince Andrew was innocent after all of this? Is what it should say after it. What if Prince Andrew were innocent after all of this? Yeah? Yeah. You know where this is going now. So when it plays out, there will be no surprise.
Feel the need to write that article?
Because nobody should be presumed guilty on the basis of one liar making an accusation.
Oh, another bitches, they're just giving themselves away in this. Yeah, because this is what is going to turn out to be the narrative when it's done.
It's certainly possible that the only thing Prince Andrew did was...
Which stops more VIPs ever being accused again and sends a message to the victims, don't even think about coming forward.
To take a photograph with her. Now, there has to be proof. And I wrote a book called Guilt by Accusation. And the theory of that book is...
coming back to Prince Andrew again. I'm telling you. Then his book's going to be a bestseller. You know what I mean? It's going, yeah. Oh, mate, you can just see it, can't you?
Today, people are found guilty, whether by the Queen or anybody else, just based on an accusation. And accusations alone, particularly if they're not made by the government. They're not...
He's giving it away, even the Queen. Even the Queen. So basically, what he said there is that even the Queen's believed an accusation now and stripped Prince Andrew. Oh, man, you can see it on the other side, can't you? My poor Andrew, I'm so sorry. Bring him back in around the Jubilee. All is well.
Not done after an investigation. They're made by money-hungry lawyers and money-hungry clients looking to line their pockets. People with long histories of lying. Nobody should be presumed guilty.
Eric Fidali, this is not a court of law. This is a TV program. But you've heard what Professor Dershowitz has had to say. Amongst other things, he's called Virginia Giuffre a liar. And he's also said that he's proved conclusively that he's innocent. As a lawyer, do you buy these?
I mean, look at these. I'm looking at this now, and what's going through my mind is, look at this bunch of pricks in their suits, with their few quid, with their connections to mainstream TV, playing out the narrative of the higher-ups. That's what I'm fucking seeing. This is not fair media. This is tipped heavily to one side, which is in the higher-ups' favour. And they use it to well, they're not actually discrediting real victims here. This is TV. This is theatre. It's being played out as real, but I'm telling you now, none of this is real.
These arguments and these accusations.
Well, I'm certainly hearing a lot of victim blaming, a lot of victim shaming, even some lawyer blaming and lawyer shaming from Mr. Dershowitz, which is certainly something as representing victims of sexual
can you two
abuse.
pretend to get into a little
time,
bit of an
so
argument?
I'm not surprised. What I would add, though, to Mr. Dershowitz's article is Prince Andrew absolutely has had since day one the opportunity to prove his innocence. He has had that chance. He could have stepped into court and he could have...
No, I was always going to sit back and hold strong and let the media do it for me. And my slaves.
Showed the world his evidence, or Ms. Giuffre's lack of evidence, so he claims, and he could have proven his innocence or disproven Ms. Giuffre's case. But he didn't do that. Instead, he's tried time and time again and gone through great lengths to avoid having his day in court. He tried to avoid service of the lawsuit.
Victim shaming. But when I've done that, you call it victim shaming. So you can't have it both ways. You can't condemn Prince Andrew for being
Mr.
silent.
Dershowitz, I'm in the middle of I'm talking. I did not interrupt you. Please do not interrupt me. He has had his opportunity. Instead, he tried to avoid service, and then he tried to move to dismiss the case based on a technicality, even going so far as to try to rule the Child Victims Act as unconstitutional, which would have ruled that multiple victims, adult survivors of child sexual abuse,
it's not all about this. It's all about what was the outcome of that.
So Prince Andrew has gone through great lengths to avoid the opportunity to prove his case, which I find baffling.
Professor Dershowitz?
Well, but I have gone to great lengths not to be silent. I've gone to great lengths to fight back, and you condemn me for that. You cannot have it both ways. Do you want victims, and I'm a victim of a false accusation, to remain silent, or do you want us to fight back? I have fought back, and you've condemned me. Prince Andrew has not fought back, and you condemn him. I think the finger of condemnation points at you. You can't have it both ways.
Mr. Dershowitz, I have no idea what you're talking about. I haven't condemned anyone. I don't even know what you're talking about. I am absolutely for everyone in this case and all cases having their day in court, being able to prove their case or disprove their case in court. That's what I think I'd like to see. That's what I think Ms. Giuffre would like to see. That's what I think the public would like to see.
See, that's bollocks, because if you can prove or disprove people in court, then I should be in court against Murdoch, Rebecca Brooks, Bill Maloney, Ian Puddick, fucking Tom Watkins. There ain't no real justice. They talk about it on here because they're already fucking lawyers and in that world. But for people on the outside that ain't got no money, what can you do about anything with no money? You can't fucking sue someone. You can't go to court. You just sat there like a cunt, yeah, knowing that that world's not for you.
They'd like to see these allegations played.
That's why these arguments are so fucking one-sided, coming out of one group of higher-up people. The real world don't go like this.
Out in a court of law, not in the media, not in op-eds on Newsmax. They'd like to see this played out.
This ain't how you have a row over paedophilia.
in the court of law where every party has their opportunity to present their evidence and to prove it or disprove it.
No, they don't. Because I've not been given that chance. So you're talking out your fucking arsehole, mate.
That's what we want to see.
Yeah, on that point.
Yeah, that's what I want to see.
Eric Fidali, on that point.
Fucking bloke on the bottom left and that. I swear someone's just making his eyes move with a remote control.
It's been said in a lot of commentary that Prince Andrew has to prove a negative, that he didn't have sex with her. How does he go about doing that, even if it were possible?
Well, that is certainly a difficult task, but it's up to Ms. Giuffre to prove her case, and she can do so with testimonial evidence, documentary evidence, and then and any evidence she can present, and then Prince Andrew will have the opportunity to try to disprove that evidence, try to counter that evidence, and try to present his own evidence in his defense.
Professor Dershowitz, a final answer.
Please. Virginia Giuffre has tried this case in the media from day one. Her accusation against me was made in public. All of the accusations have been made in the media. So, of course, I've had to respond in the media. I'm always going to respond to lies where they're told. I'm going to respond in the media. I'm going to respond in court. And you're going to call me a victim shamer. Shame on you.
Gentlemen, just pause for a second. We've got to turn to the impact on the British monarchy now. And the Queen is celebrating 70 years on the throne this year. A platinum jubilee. Huge celebrations are expected, the likes of which Britain hasn't seen in a very long time. While Her Majesty has always put duty first, the royal family as an institution has been rocked by numerous scandals and traumatic events, particularly in the latter half of her reign. The breakup of Charles and Diana's marriage due to infidelity, the breakup of Andrew and Fergie's marriage, followed by pictures of Fergie's toe-curling fling with her...
It's because it's all built on shit, that's why.
Financial advisor, all caught on camera.
I think we should fucking reconsider that fucking big shit pyramid rendered off by some volunteer workers with their trails that want to help, and then they can all live in that.
Death of Diana and her boyfriend Dodi Fayed in Paris, hounded by the paparazzi.
I mean the car crash, Diana, and is she even dead? You know? I have to question everything now. It's like, no, don't be silly. But really? What, these people left to their own devices to tell you what happened? I always thought it was a bit harsh. And then the setting up of it, with, there's a letter saying she's going to have a car accident. Don't you think that's a bit hot? Don't you think that's a bit strange? Then it happens in a tunnel where minimal people get to see what happens. The accounts given by other people driving by in cars are just more agents. They're going to say what you want them to say, like Puddick or Wedger or Bill or Andrew or Chris Fay or James Fielding. How do we know what's real? Ian Cutler, ex-News of the World, I believe him. All the stories he's been involved in, all fake. So, I'm just saying, keep an open mind, that's all.
Pictures of Prince Harry dressed as a Nazi during a fancy dress party. And most recently, Harry and wife Meghan taking off to America and making allegations of racism against someone very senior in the royal household. Back to Dickie. Dickie, of all the scandals that we've just reeled off, and there's been quite a few in living memory, is this the most damaging?
It's an interesting point that you make. Is it the most damaging to
Oh, fuck me. Dickie. Now, apparently, Sydney Cook's mate, Leslie Bailey, who also went under the name Leslie Wallerton, had a dad named Dickie. So, Dick, what's that? Richard Wallerton. Anyone know him? From around the Kingsmead estate. Richard Wallerton and Leslie Wallerton. Let us know. Back to Dickie.
institution? Look, every scandal.
Like Lord Mountbatten. Name was Dickie, wasn't it? Yeah.
Has
Queen's former press secretary. Fuck. Called Dickie. Fuck. He's 100%.
not damaged the institution, but rocked it.
Oh, fuck me. No, yeah, I could see this one leering over you and that after a few port and brandies. Hello.
but it gets back on an even keel. Look, we had the Annus Horribilis in 1992. You reeled off a few events there. Did it crumble the monarchy? No, it didn't. It shook it. You go back to 1936 with the abdication. Did it rock the monarchy? Well, there was somebody there who could take over. So yes, there was a slight tremble, and George VI took over, and the monarchy continued. Look, it's no good saying that one rotten apple makes the whole institution bad. It's not bad.
Oh, fuck me, we've heard that before, haven't we? We've heard that before in Puddick's case. Is it the case of one bad apple spoiling the barrel? Oh, God, these fucking people.
The institution is strong. The institution will survive. Individuals may not survive. Will Prince Andrew survive? Well, that remains to be seen as to what course of action he takes. I doubt whether he'll actually go to court, because if you look at that 2019 interview in Newsnight, he's not very good at thinking on his feet. And if
Bollocks, it's the BBC interviewing him, right? And that is Alan Yentob, the same guy that done Panorama for Andrew, calling him David 2 years later in 2016. 2 years after he's been on the front page of The Mirror, as I just showed you. Well, maybe not the front page, but I think it might have been. The Mirror, you know.
If he goes to court, he is really going to have to think on his feet, and I don't think he's capable of that.
All right, Russell.
No, this is all to build Andrew up as... God, this is a film. You're watching a film.
I watched you in a new ITV documentary last night. You said that the Queen and other senior royals are really troubled by Virginia Giuffre, and that Andrew's handling of the entire case, as we've heard somewhat from Eric there, has been catastrophic. How should he have handled it?
This is going to be all the better on the turnaround because it's all controlled. Oh, sorry, I'm half burping there. It's controlled by the media. So this is going to go exactly how they want to, exactly the right time, because it's coordinated as fuck. I'm sorry, but it's so see-through. And if you're out there and you're watching and you're thinking, nah, man, then don't watch his channel because it ain't worth it. You're brain dead.
Well, first and foremost, I think the Newsnight interview that he gave was his eventual downfall, because we've all seen...
Nah, see, watch him turn it around. No, actually, I always said in the Newsnight interview...
what a cataclysmic decision that was, and he's really paying the price for it. And as Dickie says, I can't imagine his legal team would want him anywhere near a stand and in front of a jury, because...
Dickie...
he just doesn't come across believable at all. You've seen his excuses he's used, whether it's he can't sweat or whether he dropped his daughter to a Pizza Express restaurant. He hasn't been able to prove them. And then furthermore, this wall of silence he's put up over the last couple of years since the allegations came to light and since his Newsnight interview has been completely foolhardy. I think his legal team has been battling against changing winds, and he hasn't said anything. And certainly the senior members of the royal family have been completely baffled by his chosen point of attack.
Yeah. At the beginning of the programme, we heard one commentator saying that the Queen stripped Andrew of his titles to save the royal family. In her words, cutting off a gangrenous foot to save the body. Do you think she's achieved that?
Well, it's certainly up for debate of whether it should have happened, beforehand. The decision taken to strip him of his titles has left him completely ostracised from the royal family. It was the right decision to have taken. I think the court of public opinion weighs heavily against him in this sense. And even if he was to prove his innocence in a court of law, it's a long way back for his reputation because of how he's handled the whole case, I think. So Her Majesty had no choice, and certainly together with her heirs Charles and William, the decision was taken probably at the right juncture, I think.
Yeah, that's something that's come out. Is that speculation that Charles and William sort of consulted with the Queen and said this is the best course of action? Is that speculation, or do we know that they were consulted?
No, my firm understanding is that certainly Prince Charles and the Duke of Cambridge were integral to Her Majesty's decision. I mean, make no mistake, Her Majesty is the boss. She's sitting at the top. She was the one who decided to wield the axe. But of course,
the Charles thing, right? The elephant in the living room there. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is Jimmy Savile, right? All this, he's making decisions. I know they've got to build him up. He's king next and all that, but he's got this to come as well. I'm sure of it. And they, they've done. He's just avoided it. Why don't they mention him avoiding the questions about Savile? It's ridiculous. It's a mess. It's a mess.
It's both Charles and William's and their family's future at stake,
right.
and certainly this has had a catastrophic effect on the way that the monarchy is held in public opinion so far.
And is that what you mean when you say that the senior royals are troubled by Virginia Giuffre? They actually see this as a potential existential crisis which has to be dealt with quickly?
Yeah, certainly. I don't think I said it was troubled or about Virginia Giuffre as an individual. I think the whole concept of a senior member of the royal family having to defend themselves in a civil trial in an international court is particularly troubling to them. Furthermore, the way that this has been handled from start to finish has been an unmitigated disaster, and it's had huge effect on not only Prince Andrew, but the fallout has spreading far and wide at the moment.
Dickie, there have been calls for Prince Andrew to be stripped of his Duke of York title, his dukedom. Actually, some people are wondering why he's still called Prince Andrew.
Well, he was born a prince, so by default he is a prince. Duke of York, it's not that easy to strip, and what happens, he's still left with the title prince. I think, as Russell says, and my words, not his, he is a busted flush. Decision taken to strip him was really, I believe, off the back of
busted
the judgment by
Puddick say
Judge
that as
Lewis
well.
Capron that the trial would go ahead. The Queen effectively fired Andrew after that Newsnight interview. She just officially stripped him of the titles just last week, a decision that...
No way. That was a BBC interview. It was coordinated to go a certain way so that when you show the outcome, you'll be able to show that interview and it will get made right on things. That's how they're working it.
She would have taken in consultation with Prince Charles and the Duke of Cambridge in very much the same way as she took the decision at Sandringham when Harry and Meghan decided they wanted to leave. They couldn't have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. She gave them an option. They chose both feet out, and Harry was stripped of everything. You can't play around with the monarchy. You're either in or you're out. You can't play around with having a court trial. Admittedly, they're allegations at the moment, and they still have to be proved, but it's still allegations. And Andrew, as Russell said, has handled this extremely badly, and he is a busted flush, and there is no way back for him.
Russell, as we mentioned, it's the
it's
Platinum
lies.
Jubilee, 70 years on the throne for the Queen. She's
Lies.
widely seen as a steady hand and someone who's put duty first her entire reign. But what does the public think about the institution of the monarchy now? Have there been any recent polls that show their attitude towards the monarchy?
I think the monarchy is still held in a fantastic regard, both in the UK and abroad. Certainly, as you rightly said, Her Majesty has been revered for her way she's handled the concept of duty. And Prince Charles has had a fantastic renaissance over the last few years. Certainly worked very hard on his own personal PR. I mean, his reputation was battered at the start of his relationship with Camilla Parker Bowles, and she's now held in a fantastic
don't mention
regard
the
for her
Savile
work
thing.
within the monarchy. But the Queen will not be here forever, unfortunately, and certainly I'm sure many people hope she has a further long reign to go. But when she is no longer here, then certainly there will be questions asked of whether the monarchy is able to continue in its current form. And like I said, with Prince Charles and Prince William taking this action with the Queen, they've got to think about their own futures, and they've got to think about how the monarchy is perceived within the wider public. And that's why you can't have people like Prince Andrew or his issues threatening the very fabric of the monarchy.
And so, just looking ahead towards the celebrations,
Exactly.
apparently they're going to be the biggest since
Exactly.
Victoria.
That is exactly what I'm saying, and it won't. It won't affect it because you're all going to make sure that it doesn't. With this fake theatre victim Virginia Giuffre, I can't watch any more of that. I don't think there's any point. But it's very telling when you watch it. That's how whenever I watch stuff now, that's how I see it. It's very, very telling. And you can see the turnaround in the... Because, you know, all of this is planned out when they do something like this. It's not random and what comes out, comes out. This is the building of all of the pieces which end up with Andrew back reinstated and Ghislaine not going to prison. Yeah. That's what it is. But, you know, I go back here again and I cannot help but see, maybe not the same ending. Well, they are putting it out there now about her being the procurer. So she may get hit with this sort of card, which is exactly what Prince Andrew needs. And because this version of Coral Beach failed, and now we're starting to see the connections everywhere. The Mirror, you know, picking and choosing when they want to get involved. Bartholomew's Notes, that once again, I recommend, I would check that out. That is really good. It's a really good blog, that one. Andrew Ash's blog, well, you know, this is all set up by the insiders. To me, that looks like it's got Napick all over it. Youth Parliament. This is all Napick and Mary Moss. Look, eyes all over it. Pyramids all over it. NCA over it when you go to the given Twitter, which I've got messages from back in 2018 where they're trying to tell me Sidney Cook is dead. And what I'm saying is, you know, from the way these lot are going on, it sounds like they're trying to lump a few people that are all in trouble here together in a scenario so I can get it wrong and then they'll all get cleared. You know what I mean? Like, oh, no one will accuse them again after that. That's what's going on. So when I look at the people they're lumping together, Sidney Cook and Prince Andrew keep turning up in there. So there's a problem. And they completely left Ghislaine out of it, but brought her dad up. And then the other thing is that Andrew Ash, the victim, then goes on to name my phone hacking solicitor, Richard Mallet, who's now also been done for, guess what? Guess what? Fraud. He named him as an abuser in a list that we recorded later on this evening after the Express interview without James Fielding now. Bill Maloney present and Chris Fay and my mate Mick. So it's so bad, but at least they've been caught. They never thought I'd put this amount of work. It's like I started when they did. When they went to town on laying the groundwork, I sort of came in at the same time and sort of clocked what was going on. I wanted to help. I really meant it. I contacted David Icke just to find out he's involved. Andrew then names him. Fuck me. And David Icke don't even address it. And then tries to hand me on to his mate Richie Allen. And then you go to Richie Allen and say, and you tell him about Puddick and everyone. He goes, oh, sounds a bit sinister to me, mate. And then he has Richie Allen on then he has Ian Puddick on the fucking show. And then all the other people that have been at me, Sharon Gow, he's had her on the show, doesn't criticise her or nothing or ask the right questions. It's fucking inconsistencies in what it's ridiculous. It's one big group of intelligence agents which haven't got much intelligence. Because if I can fucking see through it, you can see through it, and they are no good. And they have fucked up and tripped up all over the place. But don't get me wrong, the paedophilia is real, and that is what this is all covers for. Because that's all it's ever going to come down to when you get these cover-ups or these stories. It's covering up paedophilia. And it is fucking rife by the looks of things, and it needs to be exposed for this country to heal and get better. And I think you'll find a lot of things will change in this country as soon as they do that. And I believe that. This is what is at the heart of breaking this fucking country, man. And it's time, man. We have enough. But no more covering up of it. We need to actually fix the problem, expose the people that are doing it, and child trafficking cannot happen to and from this country. We can only sort our own country out. We can't deal with the world, but the message can go round the world. Right, these people are fucking liars. They're lying to you. I'm telling you the truth. I back everything up that I've said with evidence. Times, dates, everything. This woman here is not going to amount to anything. And if anything, the turnaround has already started. All the excuses that are going to come up and what's going to be said is already out there. You've just got to piece it together. And it wouldn't surprise me if some random piece of evidence comes up in this that makes Virginia look like a liar. Whether it be the picture's fake or something that she said and now she's changed. Right? And then they'll turn on her and they'll probably find fucking, lists or something on her personal computers and that. It's going to go tits up for her, right? Because that is what they fucking will do. No one gets in the media that they haven't already agreed to put there. And that is how this shit runs. This was only going to be a short broadcast. I've been on for quite a while now. Saturday, 22nd of January. The time is 3:11 p.m. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Please feel free to download this video. Also feel and to share it as much as you like. Also feel free to go to the website. That's bhtv.uk. As you can see there at the bottom, stay up to date. Oops, sorry. No, you can't see that, can you? Can you see that? Yes, you can. Yeah, you can see that at the bottom. Stay up to date. Go down there. Just give us your name and your email. And then when they take me down off of YouTube, because that is coming, and off the other media platforms, because I'm just saying their defences now, and they're not going to like it, because they've got a plan, and they've invested too much time and too much money and effort into getting it to where it is now. I'm telling you, there's a turnaround coming. And Ghislaine Maxwell's retrial, is going to play heavily in that. But one thing I don't want you to forget is that I saw Ghislaine Maxwell and Prince Andrew with two minors in the Red Rooms nightclub in Covent Garden in 1994. And there is an underground tunnel network going from at least the Palace to a cocktail bar in London. So just bear that in mind and remember that, yeah? Anyway, I'm going to shoot off. I may pop back on later on. I'm sure there'll be more developments in this coming. So yeah, take care people, and I'll see you a bit later on. Thanks for watching.